Thank you very much. I'm Joanne Watson. I'm the only candidate that's written thousands of laws for the city. I came out of a legislative policy-making background. One of the things that I've done is written a law that said you can't talk on your cell phone while driving. It may have saved one of your lives while coming here tonight. You can't text while driving in Detroit. I had to fight for that to get passed. Shouldn't have had to fight. Had to fight with a wonderful cadre of citizens who are committed to living healthy, safe lives in the city. The ban on smoking in public places was authored by me. Prosecutor Kim Worthy says that the toughest ordinance in the land to address scrap metal thieves and scrap metal dealers was authored by me. I do a lot of legislation, and I work and work and work until it's passed. That's what legislators are supposed to do. Much of the effort to address clean water and clean air and clean soil has been engaged in by myself. Just yesterday, I was the only city official or candidate in a meeting sponsored by the Regional Chamber of Commerce, co-sponsored by University of Michigan, co-sponsored by the federal government, addressing clean water in Detroit. And I stood up and made a commitment to support the House measure that is already passed, calling for $745 million to clean up Detroit's waterways and the Great Lakes surrounding Michigan, but also to support the Senate passage of the bill, which we want to have happen within the next few weeks. You need an environmentalist, somebody who's not just talking green, but living it. I didn't just join the Sierra Club when I was in office. I'm a longtime environmental activist, and green is one of the pathways to growing the economy in our community.
Thank you.
I think I'm the only candidate, or what distinguishes me from the other candidates is the fact that I have a bachelor's degree from the University of Detroit Mercy in legal administration. I have a master's degree as well in 2008. My bachelor's was in 2007 in liberal studies from University of Detroit Mercy. I also am a certified paralegal legal assistant. I was an intern law clerk for Judge Daphne Means Curtis in 2006. But more importantly, what I think that I bring to the table outside of academia or anything of such nature is the fact that as a juvenile I was incarcerated. And I think that my years of incarceration has afforded me something that this city needs, and that is a longitudinal study of what make people commit crimes. And what we have composed is evidence-based data that can change this entire nation around, first starting with the city of Detroit. Our data and evidence-based programs actually is a part of my master's thesis and project earned at the University of Detroit Mercy. We can talk about COBO, we can talk about regionalism, we can even talk about trying to attract businesses to this city, or even bringing back residents to this city. But no one is coming back because of the crime. There has not been a comprehensive plan to fight crime, or even to get into the mindset of why people will steal from you when you're gone, why people will rob from you, why people will even shoot you and don't even know you. That is a complete issue that we have to deal with in the city of Detroit. The reason why we're in the condition that we're in now, and the reason why people have left the city and not looking back, is because of crime. We can't attract businesses to the city because they're afraid that someone is going to steal their air conditioning unit or steal the aluminum from their siding. And crime has ventured off into our schools. So I think that I bring that to this table, since the city council should be composed of the composite of the city. We have nearly 17,000 parolees and probationers walking the street now. And as one law enforcement official told me, the highest ranking law enforcement official, nearly half of the 830,000 residents in the city of Detroit are felons.
Okay. It stays with you, Candidate Johnson.
Okay. Put me back in the hot seat.
Now we're going to move on to our next category of questions. Do you feel the City Council should have a role in the city appointee process? Currently, the mayor alone appoints individuals to serve the city with no required standard for the background of the individual. Should this change?
Absolutely. I believe that our history has proven to us that we need some more checks and balances with our legislative body in the city of Detroit. I think that we should get him as city council members. We should have a say-so. We should have the ability to, if nothing else, at least screen properly and do more checks on why this individual is qualified. I think too often when you talk about appointees, especially in the city of Detroit, we don't get off into the qualifications. What makes a person qualified to be appointed to this position? And I think that if we get more off into that as city council members and have some type of say-so as opposed to not having enough, I think that we can make the difference in the appointees that are appointed in the city of Detroit.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for the question. I'm Joanne Watson. Absolutely, the council members should have greater authority over the appointee approval. Not just asking them questions, we should have some approval over the selection of appointees. There's an appointee, for example, in one department right now, I asked very tough questions of this appointee during the budget process. This person did not acquit herself well in terms of some of the background one needed for the position. However, as a council member, I could not put her on probation, nor fire her, nor lower her salary of $140,000 because I did not appoint her, nor did I have the power of approval or disapproval. There ought to be absolutely some accountability to the legislative as well as the executive body for appointees, because the city council is held accountable. When lights are not on, I get calls. And then I'm forced to call the public lighting director, who's only responsible to the mayor who appointed them. When somebody's trash is not picked up, my office gets called. And then I have to send an email and hope that the DPW director responds, who he may or may not, because he does not work for me, he works for the mayor. There needs to be across-the-board changes, and that should come from the Charter Revision Commission in terms of the accountability.
Thank you. Mr. Tate?
Well, I do believe, well, let me just say, I don't believe every appointee should be approved by City Council. I think that's overkill. But when you start talking about key positions, such as the Chief of Police, I think it is very important that there is some additional oversight, if you will, from the City Council and approval process as well. We've seen the Chief of Police change far too many times, and it's hard to get any continuity if you talk about the law enforcement measures in the city of Detroit. I truly believe that is quite a possibility why we're in the situation that we're in right now in terms of different initiatives change when different police chiefs come into office. So I believe that not for all appointees, but I do believe key appointees such as the Chief of Police.
Shelley I. Foy. All you have to do is look around the condition of our city now. I'm 55 years old. I believe the appointee system has been in place many, many years. The state of California, they have a civil service. Even in their police department, there's civil service testing and qualifications delineated for each position. I think the charter should revisit that and see if our civil service system will work better. We've had appointees with the qualified, supposedly, the unqualified. Look at the condition of our city today. I think that we need to look at civil service. Therefore, the candidate apply for the job, you need a bachelor's degree, you got to prove it. You have to take exam, take the exam. I think we need to look at something else because the appointee is not working. This pointing this and friends, oh, this is so-and-so's husband, can you give him a job? We need to get away from that. We need to move our city into the 21st century. Let's leave that behind, and maybe the charter revision can look at maybe establishing a civil service process where jobs and everything is fair and equitable. Thank you.
John Bennett, let's be clear. Any appointee who directs a department, who has a budget, that I as a city council person is responsible for seeing that that person gets budget dollars should answer to me and every other council person. This should be done through the charter revision, and from day one when I sit at that council table, I'm going to be jumping on top of that table to make sure that the Charter Revision Commission makes the right changes to ensure that every director comes before City Council. Every director comes before City Council.
I believe the question was about the appointment responsibilities over department heads. Is that correct?